This is me, about to beat Minecraft in 1 hour. But 1 week ago, I had no idea what I was doing. I'll show you how I got so much better. Here's how anyone can beat Minecraft in under an hour. When you load into a world, the first thing you want to do is cut down a tree and make yourself basic stone tools. Get 7 pieces of cobblestone so you can make yourself a stone axe, pickaxe, and shovel. After that, your next priority is to get as much food as possible. Food is usually going to be the biggest factor in your run as a beginner. If you have food, usually you can find some way out of your situation, no matter how dire it may be. So, wander around and kill as many animals as you can find. The amount of food you want is going to depend on your skill level, so get as much food as you think is necessary. I would say get about half a stack of good food. Next, you want to look for a good cave. Here I saw this cave and I knew that it was going to be big. So, the first thing I did was mine a bunch of cobblestone and coal and made furnaces to smell all of my food. If you can find any iron, you should mine that too. If you get a little bit of iron, the first thing I would spend it on is a shield, because they seriously make fighting mobs that much easier. Any mob in the game can be taken down with a shield. After all your food is done smelting, it's time to go deeper into the cave. When you jump in, make sure to kill any mobs immediately. After that, mine all the iron out around you. As you can see, I got a lot of iron, so I decided to make all iron tools and iron armor. Unfortunately, my cave didn't go too deep. If you get a cave that's small like this, just dig down, because in Minecraft, if there's a cave, there's usually a cave below it too. There's a lot of science to back this up. After a long time of digging, I finally mined into another cave. This one actually had a deep dark, which was pretty cool. The ultimate goal of this cave is to get diamonds, but I actually didn't find too many, but you probably will. If you see any gold, don't forget to mine that, because it will be very useful in trading with piglins. After you get as much gear as you feel comfortable with, the next step is to get to the nether. If you just have a lava pool like this, you can actually enter the nether from just this. Just follow how I do it here. If you don't want to learn how to do that though, you could just get 3 diamonds, make a diamond pick, and mine obsidian instead. This will take much longer though. Before you enter the nether, smelt up everything that needs to be smelted and get flint for flint and steel. Also, I would highly recommend making a bed and putting it right before your nether portal, because you can set your spawn there, and if you die in the nether, you can just come back to the bed. Finally, you can enter the nether. In the nether, you're looking for 2 things, a bastion and a fortress. I would highly recommend going to a bastion first, because when you trade with piglins, you can get fire resistance potions, which make the fortress so much easier. Hopefully, your nether spawn is much better than mine, because I didn't find any structures at all. If this happens to you, you kind of just have to send it in one direction until you find something. Here I found a bastion first, which is exactly what I want. For this bastion, I have bastion knowledge, so I knew this was a stable bastion and how to play it. Bastion knowledge is something I highly recommend for beginners, since it seriously makes your life so much easier. If you want me to make a bastion video, or just like the video in general, make sure to like the video and don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, if you don't know how to play bastions, the basic gist is that you want to get all the piglins angry at you, make a hole, and then lure all the piglins into that hole with gold. Here's how I did it here. In the bastion, you want to leave it with about a stack of pearls, at least 20 obsidian, and if you can one cycle, you want a lot of string for beds. If you don't know how to one cycle, then make sure you leave with some string so that you can make a bow later for the dragon fight. Here, I actually didn't have enough of pretty much any resources at all, so I had to make a mental note to go to a second bastion later in the run. I did have fire resistance though, so I decided to find a nether fortress. The fortress is honestly really easy with fire resistance, so there isn't really much I can say here. Just find a spawner and kill blazes. Know that you should probably get 8 blaze rods as a beginner. After this, I would leave the nether using the obsidian from the bastion, but if you recall, I don't have enough pearls, so I have to find another bastion. The first thing I do is get tortured by some piglin brutes, which, by the way, if you don't know how to defend them, this is the best way. But anyways, I get a bunch of piglins into this hole over here, and then make sure to trade a bunch of gold with them. And then here I look at my inventory and realize I have everything I need. So I make a nether portal so I can get out of the nether. Now, here's how you measure eyes. Just throw an eye when you get out of the nether portal, don't move at all, and put your crosshair exactly where the pearl is. Then look at this number right here. This will tell you the angle of the eye. Now you can go back into the nether and walk in the same direction as that angle. You want to walk until you get to either the X or Z coordinate being about 250. Once it is, you should make another portal there, which is why we got 20 obsidian. This will get you much closer to the actual stronghold, and then you can keep throwing eyes to find the actual location of the stronghold. Here I actually spawned underground, so it's kind of annoying that I had to dig all my way up, but hopefully this doesn't happen to you. Once you get to the surface, just keep throwing eyes and get closer and closer to the stronghold. Eventually, you should get to a point where the eye goes straight down. When this happens, open your chunk borders using F3 and G. Staying inside the chunk where the eye went down, find where the coordinates are 4, 4. Mine down a block off from that. The starter staircase of the stronghold always generates at 4, 4, so you want to mine off a block from that just in case there's a giant hole right in the middle. Now, stronghold navigation is a problem with a lot of beginners, but honestly there's not really a solution for it. My advice is just to keep checking corridors and block off ones you've already been to. Also remember that the portal room cannot be too far away from the starter staircase, which is some useful information. Here I found it in a hidden room, so make sure to check for them. Before you go in the portal, make sure to craft all things you need. For example, make beds if you can one cycle, and also definitely make a bow so you can shoot down the crystals. Once you have everything ready, enter the end. In the end, the first thing you want to do is destroy all the end crystals. The easiest way to do this is by using a water bucket to get up to the top of the tallest pillar. Break the crystal that's at the top, and then use your bow to shoot all the rest of the crystals, except for the caged ones, of course. This took me a little while, but overall wasn't that bad. Next, you want to swim up to the top of the caged crystals, and then you can easily shoot them from there. Just do exactly like this. Now all that's left is to kill the dragon. When it's perched, stand in the middle of the bedrock fountain and hit it repeatedly with your axe. This is where you're gonna get most of your damage from. When it's not perched, you can just shoot it with your bow. Keep repeating the cycle of hitting the dragon with your axe when it's perched and shooting it with your bow when it's not. Slowly whittle down the dragon's health until the dragon dies, and you have now just successfully beaten Minecraft in an hour. If you like this different style of video, like the video and don't forget to subscribe while you're down there. Watch another video here.